Introduction to Programming. This is intended to come after 4.1, before 4.2. The first one is really not a programming question as much as a nuts and bolts question, but what the heck, we'll do a little bit of a program to demonstrate at least a couple of these. The fundamental things that a computer does are add, compare, retrieve, and store. So we are, and please note this, we are way above a fundamental level when we're working in an IDE like NetBeans programming. But if we were to do a program which was doing the absolute simplest thing, simplest operation that a computer could do, we would do this. Fortunately, that's not a statement, so we would say something like that. But again, this is several layers above the absolute basics of the computer, because we're defining a variable and we're inside a method and so on. But this part itself anyway is what they refer to here. It is adding, and subtracting is really no different. It's just going the opposite way on the number line to a computer. And in fact, multiplication is just multiple addition to a computer. So another thing that is absolutely fundamental is this sort of thing. Well, why don't we, we'll go 2 equals 2. And again, that's not a statement, so we would have to, in order to make this compile, do something like that. So that is the comparison. That operation right there is one of the fundamental operations of the arithmetic logic control unit. And the only other thing that we could try to do right now would be to store and retrieve data, but to do that is not the simplest thing in the world. We could do a file writer. But even that requires quite a bit, quite a bit more than quite a bit, in fact. But what have we got? A 3-line main method? That's not so bad. So with our file writer, we could write something and then close our file writer. And yeah, so fundamental operations of a computer, they're basically adding, comparing, and reading and writing to the hard drive. Last time I'll say this, by making this into a program and using pre-made classes, objects of pre-made classes, and having a comparison through an if condition, we are doing an awful lot more than absolute fundamentals, but it gives you an idea of what they're talking about when they talk about add, compare, retrieve, and store.